Hello, how are you doing? Hey, say hi, Jenny. Say hi, Joni. This is Joni. She was annoying. She wanted to get up, so I let her up. Alright, so today we're talking about Woodstock 99. Again, for the second week in a row. Whew. So, this is day 2 of Woodstock. And we're starting off the day, just as Woodstock 99 starts off Saturday, with the Tragically Hip. So the Tragically Hip is a band from Canada, like you've probably known. Hey, you're supposed to be talking. The band is Tragically Hip. Grace too. Here, I'm going to put her down because she's a little heavy. Alright, so the band is Tragically Hip. The song I want to recommend to you is Grace 2. But I want to recommend to you the whole thing. The whole set. The whole set is phenomenal. I think you should check it out no matter what because it's a fantastic set. Gord Downey's hilarious in it. Yeah, hilarious. He makes a bunch of jokes. He says a bunch of funny things during, like in the middle of songs. He's known for his notorious stories in the middle of songs where he just goes off and do a big story, just completely random too. Not even not even on purpose. Like just completely random. But yeah. So, anyways, he's very funny. He describes songs that are songs he describes the songs as a different type of song. Like one song he describes, it's about the largest snake shedding its skin. Well, it's not. It's not really about the largest snake shedding its skin. It's actually not even close to that. But he just makes up things as he goes. He's a great performer, amazing lyricist, amazing poet. So yeah. Tragically Hip, go check it out. Now, back to Woodstock. Okay. So last time I left you off, last week, we discussed a bunch of stuff about Woodstock and why it was such a problem in the beginning, and what made what contributes to the riot and the aftermath of Woodstock 99. So, continuing on Saturday, so this is at 12 p.m. Tragically Hip starts right at lunchtime. But before lunchtime, there's no bands. It's usually, 10. Well, like in the morning, there was no bands. Probably to let people, wake up and get some food and stuff like that. Well, what do you usually do when you wake up? You go to the bathroom, right? What do you go maybe you go take a shower or wash your hands or, clean up a bit, refresh yourself. Can't do that. Because nothing is done. So usually when you plan a festival, you usually take into consideration that the porta potties and the trash needs to be emptied and picked up, right? Well, I don't know what happened here, but I guess they didn't plan a good system, or they didn't pay someone, or they didn't have enough people because the trash wasn't picked up. Literally all the trash that fell on the ground Friday, and all the trashes were still full and all over the place. So right off the bat, the festival ground looks really, really top notch with all that trash everywhere. Then you have rivers of human specimens floating around because the porta potties were not emptied, and that leads to them overflowing and flowing out underneath the door or out of the cracks, and that leads to a basically flood, pretty much. So, with the toilets overflowing, basically those rivers. Well, first of all, they took out some tents, so they completely covered people's personal things and tents and everything. So those people's camping trips were screwed up already because they couldn't go to the tent because it was full of crap. So that right there is a big crap. Big piece of crap, yeah. But what a lot of people might not realize is the mud Like and Woodstock is notorious. And Woodstock '94, it rained, so mud was created, and then there's like big mudslide, and people are having fun, right? Same thing happened in Woodstock '69. People, big rainstorm happened. Mud was created. People, were playing in the mud and stuff like that, having fun. They're known as the mud hippies or the mud people. At Woodstock '99, it did not rain, but there was still mud. So if you can take those two together, overflowing toilets, mud, that's what people were playing in. People were jumping around, throwing mud, they were just playing in human poop and pee, because they didn't know. But if you use common sense, you'd know, because the toilets and then the water puddles were so close together. But they didn't clue in because they're young and fun and they're having fun. But yeah, so every person you see covered in mud, that's most likely poop. Most likely poop or pee from Woodstock 99. So that's disturbing. On top of all that, if you wanted water, it was either you paid $5 or you could go to one of those water refilling stations. They had those. But only for a limited amount of time, because people, what they would do was they'd unscrew the nozzle so more water would come out, but they wouldn't screw it back on. And then the water would just keep going constantly. And by the time other people wanted water, well, it was dried out. Or if there was still water, well, you were getting E. coli. So it's either you pay $5 for water, you were lucky enough to get some free water before the water ran out. So it's either $5, none, or E. coli filled water. What would you take? A lot of kids took none or pay the $5 because, that's the reality. That's all they could do. And then, since these kids were drinking contaminated water and playing in contaminated mud, well, a lot of them started getting sick. So, people were getting heat exhaustion. People were dehydrated because they couldn't get water. And then, some smart, really smart person decided, why don't we let them party all night? Yeah, that's fun. Let's not let them sleep at all. So what they did was they had an overnight rave. Now, you didn't have to go to the rave. There's people who went to the rave. But the rave was happening after the acts finished on every night. So 12, the acts would finish. People still wanted to party. These raves would go right until 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning would happen. You could go back to your tent, sleep it off. But, most people who go to a rave, you're on some ecstasy or some crazy drug like that. Or Molly, or MDMA maybe was, I don't know if that was around in the 90s. But, they'd go and, you'd be wired, so you couldn't necessarily sleep. So then they'd just keep partying the whole time. And, I don't know, I can see maybe having a rave till 3, normal time when bars close. But they just really wanted people to have a great time. And some people did. You watch the documentaries, a lot of people had a good time. But a lot of people had a bad time as well. So it's like good. There's a lot of goods. Like the music was really good. And then there's a lot of bads. Now, if you go watch that documentary, it's horrible. It's really horrible because this guy, John Scher, he's one of the organizers, and he clearly has one thing and one thing only in his mind, and that's cha-ching, 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 money. That's all he wants. He only wants money. Michael Lang, on the other hand, he's more just for the peace and love, and he wants peace, whereas, John Scher's like, oh, it's all about the money. So he has all these big corporations and all that stuff, and that's why water is so expensive, because he wants to make money on this thing. And the problem with that is that's not, he doesn't care for anything that happened. And he blames, in the documentary, peace, well, what is it? Love, peace, and riot. In that documentary, he flat out denies that sexual assault really happened there. He flat out denies it, saying, "Oh, well, I didn't see any, so it didn't really happen," basically what he says. And, all these people saying that it happened. Well, what do you expect? You're wearing no clothes. Like, excuse me, he's saying this. This is not cool. You should not have people doing sexual assault, anywhere at all. And, like, to say, "Oh, I didn't see it, so it didn't happen." Are you crazy? It happened. Oh, he drives me nuts. And because another thing he does is he blames all the artists. He's like, "Oh, well, it's Limp Bizkit's fault, and it's all Fred Durst's fault for inciting a riot." No, it's not. First of all, it's your fault for not cleaning toilets, charging them $5 for insane water prices, feeding them booze all the time. The beer garden opened at 12 p.m. at lunchtime on festival days. Now, that's not a problem, but, you got to take into consideration, by the end of the day, people are going to be trashed, and people are going to want food and water. And he's a maniac, because he's like, "Oh, it's all the music's fault." But really, it's his own fault. So, I digress. I am not that angry about that, but I can't believe that he's so blind to see that it's actually his organization's fault. But anyways, that's where I'm leaving you. I gave you 2 Tragically Hip songs because I love this whole set. I could talk through the whole set. But I got a lot of other stuff to talk about this week. So if you watch this video and you're curious to know who's coming up, well, I got some news for you, because Tragically Hip's first, so that's today, because they're the first ones to start Saturday. Right after them is Kid Rock. So I'm definitely doing some Kid Rock because I got to talk about him. His whole set's great. And then I'm going to be doing some Limp Bizkit. Now that's when it's starting to get really crazy. I'm also doing Rage Against the Machine, so that's 4 out of 5. And that's all on the East stage. So 4 of the bands that I'm going to be recommended to you this week is on the East stage. And on the West stage, I'm going to be recommending Collective Soul to you. So, that's all I got to say for today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And I hope you realize that, look, I've explained all the problems so far, and we haven't even reached what John Scher says is the main problem at Woodstock 99. We haven't even reached Limp Bizkit, which he claims is the reason why everything went to crap. And I've already explained that the porta potties are overflowing, food and water is ridiculously priced, trash is everywhere, people are constantly on drugs and booze. Should I go on? Because I could go on for another 10 minutes. So, that's all to say. It's just getting started. Saturday's just started. This is the first band of the day. So, it's going to get really good coming up. But I hope you stay tuned. Thank you for watching. I know it's a little longer recommendation video. But I can't. I just got talking. And then Tragically Hip's so good, so I played them 2 songs. So anyways, that's it. Go listen to Grace 2 and Fully Completely by Tragically Hip. Fantastic songs. Go listen to the whole set. I'll post the link in the description. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow with another episode of Music Rec on Deck. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Bye.